Hi, welcome back to another episode of Time Out with Gabii. With me here is the Queen from the Rocky Mountains, a member of the House of Mary, and she's making a very big comeback to the Edmonton scene, Plastika.
Yes.
Welcome back to my show.
Yes, thank
How you
you.
feeling today?
Girl, I'm just feeling girly pop. I'm feeling like a good old bottom, like
Right?
normal, like normal, nothing new.
Tatiana? I must say, I love your hair, your glasses, your jacket,
Thank
the
you.
merch, the
I
pants, the
mean,
socks, the
she
Gucci.
had to serve, honey, the merch and the gooch. So come on now,
She's making a
honey.
very hard
Um,
comeback.
we'll see. We'll see about that.
So how you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm just trying to get ready for this comeback. Like it's been a lot.
Oh my god.
Everybody wants a piece of this comeback.
We're not ready
Apparently,
for her.
my gosh, I think you'll be fine, honey. I
Okay.
think you'll be fine. I think everyone will be fine with this comeback. No, I'm excited for this comeback. I think I didn't really go anywhere, but I think, when somebody goes through a lot of shit and you don't see them perform in a while, I think it's very exciting to be like,
Yeah,
oh, this bitch is coming in with a new mindset, new confidence, and new just goals in drag. I think
that
it's
is
very
right.
exciting to see.
Yeah, I think as humans it's better we just I think it's there's a time in life where we need to take a step back and reflect and think and strategize on how we could better ourselves and how we could just black out things so that way we're not letting people's thoughts or opinions sink into
Yeah,
ours or see ourselves in a different way instead of
yeah,
how we used to see ourselves. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm so happy for you that you've taken that break and you're ready to like break our necks.
yeah. Honey, if I don't break my neck first,
Right?
honey, I'd be jumping from 10 feet in the
But
air.
honey, you gotta take it easy.
No.
Ah.
No, listen, I always tell people, I love the bitches who can, entertain the audience by just standing there or, doing, music video, full choreo, full fantasy. But I want to, I don't know, I want to see some crazy bitches up in here.
Plastica.
I love crazy bitches, okay? If there is no threat to their health and safety, I don't want it.
Oh my god!
These bitches be flipping and dipping and doing somersaults and 10-inch
I learned
heels.
how to do some things lately too.
Yeah, so that's the kind of drag I enjoy, and honey, it brings in the money. So you gotta gag them a little bit by jumping off the stage and do the chest
True,
split.
true. Well, so can you walk us through your childhood? What was Little Plastica like? Would I say Plastica or
Yeah,
Ashton?
you can say both,
Okay.
anyways, because I've always felt like Plastique has always been a part of my life. I just
Yeah.
think she's been kind of tucked in the back a little bit because it was as a child you never know what that means, and you're always like, oh, it's just like I want to play and they play
Yeah.
imaginary, and I think basically, born and raised in Jasper, pretty much. Queen of the Rocky Mountains, of course, which I think growing up in Jasper has given me such a good platform and really given me a lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities as well, I think, in life. So, I was born in Jasper, and then our parents moved us, me and my twin, to when we were 3 years old, to Ontario.
Is that when
So
you became a slut?
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. I lived in Ontario. I'm sorry, Ontario, but you raised a lot of sluts. I'm sorry, girl. Yeah, just outside of Toronto. And a lot of things happened in my life. My dad wasn't always there was a lot of drama with my dad. I think a lot of us can kind of relate
Relate,
to that.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I have daddy issues, but
Daddy.
daddy issues, not my father. Growing up in a household where I wasn't going to be the breadwinner of the family, I wasn't going to take the family name because that was all my brother. Because I was the son who wanted to play with Barbies and dress up, and um, do like all these like fun little imaginary games when my brother would be into like playing football, learning how to ride the bike, all these like stereotypical male things. They chose him to take the family name, and I was just kind of like the one they have to feed. You know what I mean? Like I was never them. So just from how their family, the side of the family works. My father was also like going to my grandfather for like, what should I do with this? Like da 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 da. It's
Um,
always a guy. So, that came with many years of like a lot of mental abuse. Being told that what I'm doing is wrong. Who I am is wrong. I can't do this because men don't do this. Men don't sit like that. Men don't act like that. And, it really affected me. I think that's where I really kind of had to create this alter ego and character to build my confidence up. Because also, too, it's like I knew I was different. And I think this is what everybody kind of knows when they're growing up queer. You know you're different, but you don't know what. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I was dealing with that and not just from my father, but from his family as well, the abuse, and them trying to change me. And thankfully I didn't really have to see him that much. I had to spend summers with him when we moved back here in Alberta, like I don't know, when I was like 12 or something like that. So with my mom, so I had to go back every summer. And when we lived in Ontario, and when I went to my father's house on the weekend, it was okay, it's just a weekend. I can get over this. It's a day and a half. I can
And you
just
have to
tough
come
through
back
it.
to a weather.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
like,
that's a lot of trip.
well, I mean, it was just like until like school started, so it
Okay.
wasn't too bad. But I felt like when my mom was in Ontario, like I could just like I was like I had a safe space and I had
Oh
somebody there, right?
yeah.
But 2 months full of mental abuse, and it's not. I wasn't the only one that abused like my father's family also didn't want my mom to be a part of the family, so she knew what was going on, but I don't blame my mom for this. She's just trying to give a chance to my father, to do the right thing, but he didn't. So I still remember the night when was calling my mom and was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like if I do not leave like soon, like I'm running away.
Oh
Like
my
I do
god.
not care because it was so much. Like
Yeah, there's
this
only
was
so much you can take as a person.
yeah, and this is when I was like 12, 13.
Oh my
So
god.
it's like, when you're getting into the teenager years, you're starting to
Seeing things
discover
different,
yourself,
yeah.
right? And, I mean, I want to say there's a lot of hormones as well, but, I think at that time you're starting to learn about your identity and you're starting to learn what you want in life and really thinking about like what's right and wrong for my life. And for me, it really was just like, okay, then like I'm done. Like I can't, like, why do I have to put up with this? Like it's not my choice, and it's like
Yeah.
it's my life. I get to choose, but I get to do it. But they're making me go. So I remember calling my mom like every hour, like go 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 go. And she's like, okay, give me a minute. I got to figure out what I can do. Um, but there's only so much growing up. I mean, she was a single mom, and we lived in Jasper, which is freaking expensive to live in. So she only has so much money. So it's like, okay, like whatever. And I'm over here trying to calm myself down. And then, I think what really hit me was because, my dad wanted to send me to conversion camp and conversion therapy, because he had pamphlets in his drawer, and me and my brother found them, and it had my name written on it. So I think that really is just like what the fuck, like I don't know if I can swear. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be swearing here,
Oh my
but
god, this is so emotional.
yeah, and I still remember, and then a few hours called my mom. Was like, I'm here in Edmonton. I'm on an airport. I'm coming to pick you up. Like, I know you can't do this anymore. You just have to like I'll be there tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay. Like I was shocked because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to wait a week or 2 weeks or
Yeah.
something, and then she'll fly me back out, but not that fast. So I'm very lucky to have her. And So she came and she was like, I just want to know what's going on. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I just keep getting these phone calls from you. She takes me and my brother when my father's at work and my grandparents, because he still lives with his parents. And
Sounds like a
she's
lot of
like,
drama.
yeah. And so they're all gone and we're just in the house for like alone for an hour or two, whatever. Um, and she's like, okay, we're going to go for lunch and we're going to talk about this. And so she takes us for lunch and my brother leaves a note, which I can now understand. At the time, I was like, why the fuck you leaving a note?
So they don't say it's kidnapping or what?
No, like it was just like, hey, we're going, mom is here, like we're gonna go get lunch. And like at the time I was like, what the hell? Like they're gonna
Oh
come
my god.
storming in,
Yeah.
which is what happened at the restaurant. Like my dad stormed in and was like, what are you doing here to my mom? It's my time with the boys, and it's like, no, like you don't have full custody. Like she can come anytime she wants. It's like it's her right. Um,
Oh my god. I feel so it's so emotional. Like I'm trying to place myself in your shoes to
yeah.
understand. It's tough.
Yeah, I think it's really tough when you literally feel so separated from a group of people that you're kind of like forced to be with.
Adapt, yeah.
And it's just like it's I think what everybody I think a lot of queer people have similar stories where it's like you don't feel fit into with a family or a side of the family and you just have to adapt to survive. You know what I mean? Stay quiet, don't do what they want you to do, and just like live your second life outside of that household
Yeah.
or behind their backs. You know what I mean? And then I still remember the words, his last words to me in person, face to face. And remember, I'm 13, y'all. It was like 3 a.m. My mom came to pick us up because our flight's like 6 a.m. when we have to drive to Toronto. Um, he's like, oh, by the way, you have to work on your attitude because we feel me and your grandparents feel like you're verbally abusing us. And I was like,
At 13 years
and
old?
I was, and at 13 years old, the fact that I said, okay, thank you, bye, and walked out that door, I think it speaks on how mature I was at 13
Yeah.
over them. Who says that
Plus
to a
you're the one
13?
making the calls and everything. That's
Yeah, and who
a
says,
bold step.
and like, I'm sorry, but who says that to a 13-year-old? You know what I mean? So I think that really started my queer journey, if that makes sense. Like, I hate saying that because I've always been queer, but I think really it just made me realize that night where it's like, okay, now I have to figure out who the fuck I am. I made this big decision all by myself,
Hmm.
and never seen him since. Blocked all of his family members on everything. Yeah,
That's how I am to my father's side.
right? Yeah, no, so I think it really like brought another side of me out where it was like, okay, I did this, I'm free from this, and I have to take this opportunity to live life for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think literally that summer, like it was like mid-July when I came back, and it was just me, and I think
Your brother still has contact with them?
no, my brother doesn't talk to them either for personal reasons, which I'm not going to share. But it just speaks on how the family is. They've lost everything, and like the crazy thing is, my father won the lotto.
Really?
Not like the full lottery. He won like 100 grand.
Oh my god, that's a lot
Yeah,
though.
right. It's
And
some
what year
money.
was this?
Uh,
Years ago.
it was a long time ago. I think it was
Well,
still in
that
high
was a
school.
big
It
deal
was like
there.
6 or 7 years ago at least. But it's money, and when you're a parent and you win money, you should. And we're like, it was a time when we were about to graduate high school, so he gave no cent to us. So it just kind of speaks on who he is and who his family is. So yeah. But that summer when I left his house, it was just very much like, okay, I'm living life. So I came out to my friend, and then a few hours later, I was like, I don't like everyone's gonna know within a few hours because
Yeah.
living in Jasper, it's great, it's
It was a small
beautiful,
city.
but it's only 5,000 people, so you know everything going on with everybody. So I was like, okay, well, everyone's gonna know about this in like an hour, like a couple hours, a couple days, I don't know, but people are going to find out. You know what I mean? I'm sure they had a suspicion. Like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't really need to come out. Like, I'm one of those cases where it's like my closet was glass doors, honey. It was glass doors. We all knew, honey. I was strutting down the
Right?
street at like 12 years old, like I was goddamn Tyra Banks over here. My God. But you know what? So I was just like, everybody kind of knows. Well, I had a feeling everybody knew. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to come out on Facebook. And so I just came out on Facebook, and literally the amount of messages and text messages I got from people who never talked to me in that high school before. And that really kind of started that also like really put me in the spotlight because in Jasper, they didn't really have a youth that came out while in high school or any of the schools really. So it really kind of put me in the spotlight, which I was grateful for, but I think I should have waited
Yeah.
because, coming out of such a traumatic event, I think I think I wasn't ready. I was like still kind of questioning what I wanted in life and like what I kind of wanted to do, but it came with a lot of opportunities in Jasper. I started the GSA, the Gay Straight
Oh,
Alliance, in the high
nice.
school. And not only for that school, but it inspired to open up the GSA in the Hinton School and Edson, which is the same school district.
Yeah.
And Mom, I had so much power in that school. Being like the only gay kid in your whole school district. Well,
Everyone
okay,
want to be your
out kid. I
friend,
should say
right?
out queer kid. You had a lot of opportunities, like I would like sneak out, skip class, and they would find out, and they're like, "What are you gonna do?
You're gonna
Like,
be the gay kid?
what
Hates
you're gonna give
crime?
me detention? You're gonna suspend me, the only queer kid in the school district? Like, how is that gonna look?" And then they were like, oh, oh. So, but I mean, yeah, it got me out of a lot of trouble, but it was still very hard in that high school. Being the only queer kid, everyone had questions.
Sounds like a movie.
Like, right, honey, I basically lived in a movie. I'm sorry. It really was like a movie. When I think back to it, because it's like I'm over here. It's like no one can touch me, but at that same time, I was at the lowest point in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we all kind of understand that the happiest person could be
The
the saddest
saddest person,
person,
yeah.
and it's I don't want to say the word, but I wanted to end it all multiple times because the bullying was so bad. You know what I mean? Like, I remember they would like push me into lockers. They would do all this shit, and the girls would like. Yeah, I don't know if you would know about this app, but there was like little apps where you can send like anonymous messages and all that. And so they would send anonymous messages and be like, "Oh, I have a big crush on you. I'm not out." So like da da da. And being 15 and a desperate gay kid, like I haven't had my first kiss yet, and everybody over here is like, doing it and shit, losing their V cards, and I'm just over here. I'm like, okay, like I'm the only queer kid here. Like I've never done all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I want that, high school romance kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I kind of fell for it. And it was all a joke, like just to send me on this big goose chase, right? And so yeah, it was really tough for me for the first 3 years of high school, up until and then I started the GSA, and then it started getting a little bit better, and then I started planning all the youth events for Jasper Pride, and then it slowly got better. It's never, I don't think it's ever easy to live in that because at the time, like there was maybe like less than 20 queer people in the city, and most of them were older, so they didn't want to take on this
Youth stuff.
teenager,
Yeah.
who they couldn't really help because they don't have connections in school, they don't know me, and like no blame to them, like if it's really hard when you struggle with your own shit, and then you like some youth is here, like you want to
Yeah.
help, but it's hard to help, You know what I mean? Sometimes, um, yeah, you just can't help. So, I'm over here, I'm just trying my best. And, then I really like found I was just like, I'm going to change this city. And because there was nothing for youth during Jasper Pride at that time. It was one big night, and you couldn't enter the room if you were under 18 because they were serving alcohol.
Oh
That was
yeah.
just a rule, right? So I remember I was like, well, there's a kitchen, why with like like a serving window or whatever. Y'all know what I'm like, a cafeteria. So
Don't tell me you jumped
yeah, honey,
it,
I didn't jump
bitch.
it. No, no, I didn't jump it. But I remember they would be like, okay, this is like a loophole. So they would they couldn't open it fully, but they opened up a little bit so we can watch the drag show. So we were
Oh.
peeking our little heads like through this like crack this big. It was like me and like the few friends I had, and we were all like, we want to see the drag show. Like, oh, right? Like trying to hide, and so they didn't. So Jasper probably didn't get in trouble. I remember that so much. Like, and that was like 3-4 years of just that.
And look at you now.
I'm
People want to watch you, honey. Life.
headlining and jumping off the stage now. Yes, I'm surprised I am not. I've still been asked to come back, so we'll see that next year though. Yeah, no, I think growing up in Jasper, it's given me a lot of opportunities, and it really has made me stronger as a person because I had to fend for myself. I'm sorry, like I had a lot of people who helped me, but it was really me, myself, and I there,
Yeah.
and I had to speak up to a lot of things that not only in the school but like in the community because I'm sorry, but
It had
like
to be said.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like I knew I wasn't the only queer kid in that school or in the schools of the division, in like the Yellowhead area, right? Like there's Hinton and Edson, and
Yeah.
they're worse because they're more. I don't want to say they're country. It's not Jasper where it's like people from all around the world, where it's a little bit more liberal.
Yeah.
But it's more of a conservative mindset in those cities. So I had to kind of be, as I said, I was pushing the spotlight to be the, how do you say it, like the spokesperson for
Yeah.
queer youth. And I was like, this is not a safe community at all. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like we can, like you guys tolerate us. Like it's like I'm here, everybody's fine, but the school, you're not doing anything. The community, where's the pride events? Like where are the role models? You know what I mean? So it was really myself. So I think that's where I've gained my confidence because
At a very young age.
yeah, well, I had to, right? Coming from such a terrible place and then coming out, being pushed in the spotlight, and having all this responsibility, I could have said no, but I think it really takes a lot of confidence, and it takes a lot of big person to say yes to all those responsibilities, and I
Yeah.
still have those responsibilities. I feel, I don't live in Jasper, but I still feel like, I was the first openly queer student in that high school, so I have to represent and be, try to be as much of a role model as possible. I don't condone people jumping off stages and,
Breaking
sleeping
legs.
with porn stars, but, I think really the message is just, enjoy life. You
So
know
we
what I
shouldn't
mean?
sleep with porn stars?
No, Gabii, don't do it. I've been there.
Plastika, you're preaching against your
Yes,
ways?
honey.
We need to
The porn
practice.
stars are mine. We all know the porn stars are mine.
You don't practice what you preach,
No,
Plastika.
no, no. I'm done with that. I'll be friends with them, but but also too, like speaking of that, a lot of people, know I've had a past with a lot of adult film stars. Um, you know, and all these bitches, like, there's still some bitches who are bitter at me because they're like I don't get it. Like these are people not in the community and they don't come out anymore. But I still remember when I would be hanging out with, the porn stars, the Andrew Christian
I
boys
remember, yeah.
outside of Evo or, all that. They're like, oh, why are you hanging out with them? Like who are you?
The
I'm
fuck?
like, I'm their friend. Like, because a lot of people don't like, I feel like a lot of people treat sex workers as sex workers.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're easy, they're sluts, they just want to give it to everybody.
What the fuck? No way.
Yeah, right. That is the mindset because especially when they're males and it's like gay adult film stars, they think, oh, I'm a guy, you know, they're going to be attracted to me because I'm a fan. And I was
Yeah,
like,
do it
you know
for
what? They want to
money.
be, if you want to hang out with them and be friends with them, or, even a possibility of them sleeping with you, you got to treat them like normal people. And that's why I'm so close with a lot of them. You
You're a
know,
very nice person, I must say that.
oh, thank you. Well,
You can be a bitch, but yeah, you're
well, you know what?
nice.
Okay, I don't. I like. You know what? You can still be a nice person and still be shady. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like that's another thing I wanted to say because you can be shady, you can be all this, but I think at the end of the day, you need to treat people like people and realize that everyone has their own lives really, and you have to you kind of have to read the signals if you're going too far, right?
Yeah.
And respect people's boundaries. You know what I
Plastica
mean?
gave you my second gig.
Yeah.
Now let's talk
Yes.
about drag. How did you get your stage name?
Um. Okay, it's funny. So, this was when Plastique Tiara wasn't on Drag Race yet, but she was like Alyssa Edwards was posting about her. I was like, oh, she's really pretty. That's what I want my drag to be. And she doesn't. She was not looking like how she was now, where it's just very minimal makeup and transformation. She was out there working and dancing every single night in Texas.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's who I want to be. I want to be working every night. I want to be dancing on those stages and I want people screaming my name. So I was like, okay, I really like the one word name, like Cher,
Yeah.
Madonna. I have no time for last names. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
if you know me, I'm probably not going to call you by your drag last name. I'm just going to make you a short little nickname.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, I love how LaDonna reacts to my nickname, La Noodle, to her.
Lanu-
La Noodle. Like, literally, I'm probably not gonna say your last name because I don't have time. I'm sorry. Like, I talk fast and I have a lot to say to you,
yeah.
and you're gonna get tired of me
Yeah.
talking, so I gotta shorten it up, honey. Um,
I can tell.
yeah. So I was like, okay, plastique, and then I was like, okay, like let's change it around plastic. But I was like, okay, let me be edgy.
God.
Change the C to the K and add A to the end. Plastika. So that's how I got my drag name.
Oh my
It's
god.
nothing special. Like I just saw a drag queen that I really looked up to, and I was like 16, 17 at the time. So I've had this name for a long time.
Oh my goodness.
I planned my whole drag career in my head at 15, 16. Because when I saw
Hmm.
Drag Race, like, and I hate it, and like, even like Guys in Disguise and Jasper Pride, like, it was Twiggy, Terry Stevens from Calgary, a lot, like, I saw them and I was just like, that's what I want to command a stage like them too. So, that's how I got my drag name. It's nothing special, but I think it's very like I always stuck to it because that was the first drag name I've ever given myself,
Oh,
and I was
nice.
just like, why would I change it now?
Absolutely. Like the name has taken you so far. People know you worldwide already.
Right, and it works great. Like I can just say I'm plastic, so
I mean, you're flexible, so.
oh, I wouldn't say that. I'm getting old, honey. I'm getting old.
So, how did you make your drag debut?
Oh God. Okay, so
And what year and what city was it at?
my real drag debut. Okay, well, I'll speak about my first time in drag. It was at this LGBTQ campfire flight that I don't know if it still goes on. I think they changed the name or whatever. But the U of A used to put it on. It was only for LGBTQ plus
Oh, really?
youth, yeah. And so they would always pick me because they're like, I feel like they felt bad for me because I lived in Jasper. Um,
Oh,
and like they did little like school programs. So my GSA went to Edmonton for for a GSA conference, and then the next day they did the little program so we could learn more about like the LGBTQ community and terms and safe language and safe spaces, stuff like that. Um, It was fun because it was at the U of A. I still remember it was in the education building, like right across from the offices in like some boardroom, and we danced to I forget the name.
Lady Gaga.
No, no, no. It was Ingrid Michaelson or something.
Okay.
Girls like boys or boys like girls or something like that. Something like that. Somebody write in the comments what then if you know the song,
Right.
write it in the comments. But yeah, I just still remember dancing to that song, and that was like our break song. And we had snacks. We just danced in that little boardroom, and then I applied, and I got approved, and I was so excited. Like honestly, it was like a place where I can meet other queer youth, and that's where I met some of the dragons in the city.
Really?
It, it's funny. I'll get back to it. So then every like the last night they do a talent show, and before the talent show there was a drag queen painting workshop, and bitches, this is like there's a lot of competition in the drag scene, but to get into this drag queen workshop that they did, and I think the court ran
Oh,
it,
oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember.
everybody wanted to do it. So everybody had to write down their name, and they put it in a hat and they put people's names out to do this workshop. Or else you had to do like other like meditation workshops, everything, but everyone wanted to do the drag queen one.
Makeup, yeah.
Or I should say drag performer, because I think 1 or 2 years they included drag kings into
Oh,
it.
great.
So I got picked, and my grandma, Vanity Fair, painted my face.
Oh my god.
So, and it was little me. I think it was like 16, 17 at the time. She painted me, and I was like, oh, I'm just saying drag. And there's like a clothing swap during the whole camp. So you bring some clothes, and like the counselors brought clothes, so you could like take some clothes with you and all that. So me and my friends, like I got painted, and my other friend got painted. And we're like, oh my god, you look so good. And they had a wig and everything for me.
Ooh.
So we went and got a dress for me in the drag shop. I think it was some like Ardeen 4-way stretchable spaghetti strap dress, and I performed Toxic.
A Britney baby.
Honey, I was Britney for life.
From the set go.
Honey, this is literally, I said, I start with Britney, I will end with Britney. Literally, when I am on my deathbed, I will be performing Toxic for everybody. I don't care. You wheel my hospital bed up, hooked up. You know those like 50s and 60s, like, you know, the big containers where your head poked out? I will still perform in that if I have to. You know, anything. If I have not performed Britney and I'm about to die, I'm telling them, stop recording.
Right?
I got to perform this, honey, before I die. Yeah, and everyone loved it. Like, I think there was no winner, but everybody was just gagged and go because everybody just enjoyed it. And you know, that's kind of like in my mind. I was like, okay, now I got to do this. Like when I grow up, I got to start doing this. So that was my first time in drag, painted by Vanity Fair. Then the next year, the counselor's like, "Oh, you're performing again?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know.
Really?
I'm not in drag."
How old were you at it? 18?
No, I was definitely. I think I was 15 for the first time and 16 for the next year.
Okay, great.
And they're like, "Oh, like we want to get in drag, and we want you to perform." I'm like, "Oh well, I got nothing." And I think I purposely didn't get painted because I was like, I did it last year. I want other people to get painted. You know what I mean? But then Brent and Matt went to Sister Mary Clarence.
Red Dizzle?
No. They live in Calgary and Toronto now, but they were the counselors, and they went to Sister Mary Clarence. She gave them a whole bag of drag and wigs and like cheap ass like cover girl makeup. This was like early SNC. I didn't know who she was, but they were like, okay, we got a full thing. They came back a few hours. Okay, we're getting in drag. So like, I still have the picture. I think it was so bad. I think like I was in some jean booty shorts. I think I was in the camp t-shirt like tied up. Some scratchy ass wig, like brown wig.
Period.
She had so much tangles, and my wigs are not great. My wigs are not great, but this was it was something.
What year was this?
Oh my god, it was like 2017 or something.
Oh my goodness.
Something like that. I'm not sure. I was still. Oh, I forget the day, but yeah. And then I performed. I think I performed like Katy Perry or something. I forget what I performed, but it was fun because it was like four of us, and we did Lady Marmalade, which I'm sorry, House of Art, that Lady Marmalade would have beat yours.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I'm their auntie, so I can say that.
Whatever, right?
That. I'm sorry, but they didn't invent Lady Marmalades. I'm being shady now. I'm sorry.
Is not gonna like that.
No, but no. But I can be shady with them because I love them so much, and they know I'm joking. Like I feel like they bring something to the drag scene that nobody else does. But anyways, back to my actual stage debut in drag. It was my first drag mother. Before Sister Mary Clarence.
Oh yeah, we all have a first drag mother.
We all kind of have that bitch. It's like, I'm putting you in drag and you're getting on a fucking stage, bitch. We won't talk about her because that's more trauma. But she painted my face and I got the wig. I put a wig on. I look so bad. It's on dough. Nobody looked for it. Yeah, I think you can find
it. What song did you do?
I did Dirty by Xtina.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a drag classic, honey. Like, honestly, Dirty by Xtina, like, it's so good. Like, I feel like a bitch who can do Dirty by Xtina well, like, you've done it. Like, for me, at least. Being a Y2K girly, like, Dirty is you have to do it if you're going to be early 2000s drag. Like,
yeah, sorry. Absolutely. Y2K.
But I remember before that, like, everybody, like, I remember Ruby and Rob was constantly saying, like, when are you starting drag? I was like, I don't know, because I would go to the bar and I would dance in the cage. I would dance on the dance floor, and I'm just over here serving. I don't care. I'm 18 years old. I don't fucking care what people think of me.
You started drag when you were 18?
Yeah.
Oh my god, 15. Sorry, initially.
15 was the official start, but 18 was when I got.
How many years now?
At least 6 now. I think it's coming up to the 6th year. I'm so old in the drag community.
Almost 10.
Yeah. Oh my god! Don't remind me. No one call me a legend yet, because I am not. I'm icon.
It takes 10 years and above to be a legend.
Okay. Honey, I don't know.
Very soon.
I feel like now that I put a lot of pedestal on slutty drag.
Absolutely, like one of the co-founders.
I wouldn't say that. There's plenty of sluts. I mean, Twiggy's a big old slut.
I feel Twiggy is more relaxed now.
She's a classy slut. She's an escort. Like, you get it's like Pretty Lady. Like, what a Pretty Woman. You gotta pay her dinner and then she'll be a little bit of a slut for you if the price is right.
Right.
No, but I think a lot of people like see me, like, I don't know, like the drag scene has changed so much since COVID. Like, a lot of people see me as like one of, like, a slutty queen and the slut of image and drag. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but, there has been a lot of sluts in the scene. And so I'm like, okay. But, I feel like it takes a lot to, be slutty, because a lot of people, like, and a lot of people just assume you're a slut 24/7.
24/7. Yep. When you act like it, people assume things.
Listen, I love y'all, but like,
give me a break.
I can't be, on my knees 24/7. I need at least a cushion.
Let alone the jaw wide open for 24/7. Oh my god.
Yeah, honey, I can't have lockjaw. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, yeah, I just feel like that's the start of my drag. Like, Dirty was definitely, Toxic was the first one, then Dirty was my official song. And then, I'm here now, like, almost 6 years in March. It's like,
I'm planning to have drag kids. Oh my goodness. Oh. Let's talk about your favorite performance.
My god.
What would you say your favorite performances?
My fave performance, all of them.
Okay.
Because, okay, like, yeah, I understand when people say they have a fave performance because they feel so well, but for me, I am not, like, I have a seriousness with my drag, but, if you have one favorite performance, then it
The
just kind of
rest are not valid.
speaks on how much you treat this seriously. And you have to treat your drag seriously. But for me, every single performance should be a favorite performance.
But there are times when, for example, you have this choreo planned out, and you just go on stage and like your mind is blown off. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So things like I guess it's certain circumstances or circumstance
But
or
I
things that
think,
happen that makes one consider a performance not their favorite.
yeah, but I think also too, like you have, like a lot of people like, go into this and be like, your every single performance has to be perfect and it has to like, and I think a lot of younger, and this comes in from a lot of younger artists, 1, 2, 3 years into the business.
Six
I'm sorry,
months.
but not every performance is going to be perfect, guys. Like, did I have times where I was crying in the backstage because I didn't do all my choreo, or I felt like I didn't know the words, or my wig fucking slipped off, or I had a costume malfunction? Yes, of course. But at the end of it, truly, you need to have fun with your drag. I'm sorry, but like I'm here to not only have fun for me and to escape my normal life outside of drag, but I want my audience to feel,
Your presence,
even
yeah.
if they forget about their stresses and their life, just for the 3 minute song that I'm performing in, I've done my job. As a drag performer, there's a business side and then there's a human side where I want my fans to have fun and I want my fans to enjoy what I'm doing and have fun in the process. Maybe they're not on stage, but they're watching me
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh my god." Like, I think that's really it. So that's why I say every number should be your favorite because if you're having fun, then you've succeeded. I'm sorry. If you've like, yes, we can deliver all the choreo, we can deliver the best outfits, but really what it comes to, what? I'm not being shady here.
I
I'm
know,
saying the truth.
honey.
I don't know what she's laughing for, guys. She's over here just laughing at me, and I'm trying to say, have fun with your fucking brand. That's all of what it is. And honestly, if we're going to get into it, because I think this was something you wanted to talk about during pageant teams, I was fine with
Oh
losing.
my god, honey. I did as an Aries, like I was speaking to who was I talking to? I guess it's Gogo Fett. Aries is so competitive. That's
Mm-hmm.
why even when I lost, I'm like, things happen, no hard feelings, move on with your life because I'm the kind of person that if something happens, I try to like just move away
Yeah.
and like just if I will like honey don't even bother talking to me. But like, I'm like things happen, even the greatest lose. So
Yeah.
that way I've started like coming out of my shell to become this cool person. I told Lajuna like I don't think I'll ever be on a pageant anymore, but like now I'm willing to go back there. I spoke to me a few days ago and it was like, why aren't you on the show? Like the last pageant. I was like, because
Yeah.
I lost. I don't want to lose
But girl, like honestly,
again.
that's where what I'm saying. It's like, did you have fun with Pageantinta?
Yes, I did.
So I think that's all that matters. And that's why, I know LaDonna told me because she cuts my hair, like a few weeks later, she's like, girly pop, the amount of people who told me that you were robbed. I was like, yeah.
Right?
And like, okay, like I understand, like, there's a lot of like factors.
Yeah.
If I made it to top two, then I know some bitch would be like, "Oh, they're sisters," and
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Gabby, I
Yeah.
know you
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah. I
Trust
would.
me, trust me. She's shady as hell.
Oh
But you know what? Like, I had fun, and honestly,
my god.
I was like, when I said yes to doing the show, because I was teasing LaDonna to do this show. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do pageant the next
How many
time.
times have you done it?
Once.
Just
Well,
once?
just once.
How about the one you
Well, okay,
were?
I was a competitor once, and then I was a lip sync assassin
Okay,
twice
okay, good. Oh, twice,
on the
okay.
second time. So, when I said yes, I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with this. You know what I mean? Like, the period ball. I was like, everyone's gonna do this like historical back in the 1800s,
Honey,
honey,
don't
witch
remind me
on a
about
pole
it.
being set on fire. But I was like, okay, I can do Y2K. Why not?
Right.
And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have these gorgeous outfits, and I walk out on stage looking like Ashley Tisdale at the Kids' Choice Awards.
I mean, you didn't look bad, I must say.
Yeah.
You were giving Britney.
I mean, honey, I was given 2000s for sure. But and yeah, and so everybody was like, "Oh, you should have been top two." And people still say that to me, and thank you.
Right.
But I think there's always all stars. LaDonna, if you're watching, all stars. Sorry again, I'm taking period ball. Oh, representative. Sorry.
You wish.
But honestly, true. Like I feel like everyone had their strengths and weaknesses in the competition. I feel like my runway could have been slightly better. I'll confess to that. But honey,
I
there's one
think mine
thing.
was just my outfit.
You wore a sheath of fabric. Listen, we
Honey,
love.
back in the days, there were not much fabric, honey.
Yeah, there's things as fabric shortage, so you should have gotten extra points for showing the
Right?
vulnerability
Thanks
you needed.
God.
The
Thanks for
vulnerability that you needed, that you found a shower curtain on clearance.
Bitch, I hate you!
We're cutting that out. No. No, I loved you because your performance, you slayed the performance.
Yeah.
But honey, nobody could have taken my interview. There was not even
nobody could have taken my performance. Oh, sorry, Sissy. Sissy was really good.
Sissy was very good, and I think she was the well-deserved winner.
Yeah.
Also, I don't need a title, so
Right.
I'm already good.
I was there to like gain more audiences, because after every show I perform, I'm always having new followers. So
yeah,
that is great. Thanks to everyone that has been booking me, including Plastika.
Oh yes, Young, Hung, and Drunk.
Speaking of shows, how did your Young, Hung, and Drunk, or what's the name of the show?
Young, Hung, and Drunk.
Yeah, come about.
Okay, so it was with my first drag mother, and she was like, "Oh, I got a show. You're gonna co-host it with me."
Oh, nice.
And so I was like, "Okay." And this was like the first 6 months of my drag, so I was like, "Okay."
Host. Talk about a superstar.
I was like, "All right." And she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna be on the like introduce while I'm changing once or twice." I was like, "Okay, well, I can do that." And so she was like, "Oh, we gotta think of a name." So there's always like that young, broken, fabulous thing, but it's like, okay, that's great, but I'm sure someone has done that as a show title. So I was like, okay, what rhymes with young? And I was like, hung, because I'm slut. And then I was thinking, okay, young, hung, and what? Young, hung, and what? Yeah. I was like, drunk. So young, hung, and drunk. And so we named the show that, and then during that show, she I like, honestly, it's that night was like such a blur. All I remember is I had to host the whole thing, pretty much. Because I think she sprained her ankle because she wore like 10-inch heels for the first time and she didn't practice. So bitches, if you're gonna wear tall heels, please practice.
Wow.
Like, please. Don't wear your new outfit the first time when you're going on stage. Which, I was like, are you gonna go on stage? Like, I was like, you wanna host? Like, I'm only supposed to host like twice. She's like, no, go take the mic. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to host this full show, and this was my Barbie crunch moment. I still remember, like, you ask anybody in the old, like Ruby, you can ask Twiggy, honey, she had slouchy crotch and Barbie crotch. I did not know how to do drag at that time. I also like no panties, like just no panties to hype that shit up. But I still served it. And I think then that was kind of like the end of my hosting for a long time. I think I think I co-hosted with Mary a few, like, at her old shows, Hail Mary, Have Mercy.
Mary, have mercy.
Yeah, so it was fun, and I didn't do much hosting at those shows, like once or twice stole the mic. And which, obviously, if you're gonna be Mary's daughter, you need to know how to host.
Yeah, I think
like if you look down all of the family members,
From Gemma to you to Atasia, you all are so amazing and
yeah.
hilarious, I must say.
Like I'm sorry, but like the House of Mary is known for our
And
hosting.
Ladonna.
LaDonna won favorite host.
Yeah, and
Um, and
Gemma.
then I'm sorry, but Artasia, I love it when that bitch hosts because
Yeah,
she's like, so
right.
what's going on over
Listen
here?
up. Listen
She
up.
will not have a point of view. She will just look out and just like, so I live for it. And I know the
I
whole
can't speak English.
yeah. I'm not from here.
Exactly.
So yeah, so like I think the whole scene has embraced that Artasia it like just like in our minds we just assume she's like the best drag host
Yeah.
ever. But yeah, no, you look at Gemma, they host like
Fresh fruit,
fresh fruit,
dollhouse.
everything, honey. They have really grown
And
and
they're multitasker as well.
yeah, and so I hosted that and then Young Hung and Drunk, the I hosted my first one back in 2022. And had freaking my drag husband Brent Diesel from Calgary. I had Ammonia, Giselle, Secretia Minora,
Oh.
and Celine Dijon. So, people, that I was like, these are girly pops. I think everyone brought such different
Different,
things,
yeah.
which if you weren't at that show, which I know some of you watching weren't, you're missing out. I'm sorry. The Young Hung and Drunk experience.
It's always fierce.
I wouldn't say fierce. I would say slutty, but
Okay.
it is like, yeah. No, I really enjoy doing those shows because I think everyone expects to do like just be this sex-filled show, but I
Yeah.
think bringing in the themes, it's really fun, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's a really sexual title, but like yeah, but it's like it means nothing, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but no one like I don't have anyone super young in my show. I don't have super like I don't know if those bitches are home. But the one thing is I definitely know people get drunk.
Drunk, yeah.
And so I really enjoy it. So let's hope I get a fourth one.
Fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed. And I already
Organizers,
have
you
a
better
theme
let her
and a
get it.
cast. I have a theme and a cast already.
Oh, nice.
Like I'm planning. I already have like 3 Young Hunger Drunks planned ahead.
Are you selecting any newbie?
Oh well, I have a lot of newbies in mind for my Young Hunger Drunk shows. Because also too, like I come from a time like when I started drag, I didn't get booked for 6 months.
Oh my
It
god.
was hard when you like pre-COVID to get like gigs because you had to prove yourself. You had to go to you should go to every show if you want to get booked as a new queen, but you have to go to every single show in the city for someone to notice you. Like not just the Eva ones, like every single one. If you wanted a certain person to book you, um,
I paid my dues already.
oh yes, honey, you're doing the podcast. You're doing everything, girl.
Worked at the bar.
Yes, honey, you work at the bar, honey. You do a lot. Like if you, I think that's one of my biggest tips for people because a lot of people do come in. I was like, oh, I want to start drag. I want to be on stage.
Like, honey, come
I
on.
was like, find an open stage, and then they get scared.
Well, yeah, you told me those ones too.
You know what I mean? Find your open stages. Listen, like you're not gonna get money in the first year, 2 years of drag, but like then once you develop your drag, you develop your vision, and then you grow. And that's where I think why Young and Drunk is, only getting better. Because I now have a vision for this. I have themes, I have an expectation, and people are just I've had some pretty fucking iconic fucking numbers there. I had a debut of Anise.
Nice.
At with Giselle. They fucking slayed it.
Is that their debut?
Huh?
That was a debut?
That was their debut.
Oh my goodness.
And then yeah, a second show.
Yeah, my
for
second
you.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and so like for me, I always try to book somebody who's new, at least new-ish to the scene because I know how hard it is to get gigs when
Yeah.
you're new. So I think it's very important.
Thank you for that. I hope a lot of people are gonna follow that footstep.
Yeah, so if you new queens are watching, you can tell Evo to give me Young, Hung, and Drunk reorder show, and I'll book you. Possibly. Let's see.
So, what's your thought about what's happening in the States with all this banning of books and no story time telling and the hate for
Don't
drag
say drag. Don't say
performers?
gay. Yeah.
Exactly.
I
And
have.
killings
Oh
too.
my god. I think
Jeez.
honestly, I don't think it's just in America. I think it's a world thing.
Yeah.
I think you see those aspects coming up here in Canada. It's really bad in Calgary for sure.
Hmm.
And all over the world, I think drag is still something. You know, it's very in the mainstream, but it's still very kind of raw and edgy to the conservative side. And I think I just like if I could say anything to them, I'd be like, give us a try. Yeah, okay, so yeah, at 18 plus bars, we're going to do more, raunchy, edgy stuff, revealing numbers, provocative numbers. But we don't care about your kids. Like honestly, I think a lot of that it comes from a place of fear.
What are
And
you scared of? If your child is queer, honey, nothing you do is gonna change them because it's
yeah,
only a matter of time before they start unveiling all these things.
yeah, and
Trust
like
me.
honestly, me watching Twilight, you think I'm
The
in,
chain.
it,
We've watched all Disney romance stories and everything, honey.
honey, I watched Made in Manhattan about 5 million times when I was a kid. You think I'm over here believing some politician's gonna fall in love with me because I'm working at Zara? No,
Right?
no, honey. That's not how love works. I'm not, and I'm still fucking gay. It didn't turn me straight. But no, I think it comes from a place of fear and a place of lack of education. And I know I'm not saying these people are stupid. I'm not saying these people, they have a mindset and they just don't
I
see the other
think
side.
understanding is the better word
Yeah.
because if they can't see from our point of view to understand us, then because you can get a
But I think
master's,
also,
doctors, and
too,
whatever,
I
honey.
think they just don't educate themselves on what drag
True,
is.
true, true.
These people are smart. They know what they're thinking, and they have successful jobs and all that. And I'm just really sick and tired, and it's not even just this. I just am really sick and tired of humans really hating on other humans. If you don't want to see drag queens, don't come to the shows.
Absolutely. It's like
There's
that.
plenty of other things to do. You know what I mean? I think it's terrible though. I think, especially in America, there's now laws that, fellow drag performers, they can't go on a sidewalk or else they're, thousands of dollars in debt. They could go to jail for it.
Oh my god.
And, for me, it's like, that in America, there a lot of those queens and
Rules.
kings, well, not even root girls, just local full-time performers. That's how they pay their rent. So, and put food on their table. So I think it's honestly disgusting. Like honestly, I just hope that, with us, I feel like we need to approach it with a sense of, hey, you know, we can be angry, we can be frustrated, and we can fight, but we also have to go into a sense where I feel like, if it's not a conversation, then they're not going to listen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that's what they want to see us angry. They want us to be pissed off, and because it gives more fuel to their fire.
Yeah. And distracts people from real things that are happening.
Yeah, and you know what? I totally said you can be angry about this. I'm angry about it. I'm frustrated. I'm stressed and I don't like it. But I think it's a matter of fact where both sides have to come in and have a conversation, and we have to hear both sides, like
I
everything.
don't want to hear whatever they want to say.
No, listen. They're going to give us a lot of bullshit,
Right?
but you have to it's like a conversation. It's a two-way road. You
Yeah.
have to have a conversation, and you have to listen to their concerns for you to be able to give to the answers that they want to hear. That's what I'm saying. Because if we're just like constantly like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, it's only going to get them angrier. And
Yeah.
then they're going to make us angrier. And it's two big fires.
Against both worlds. Anywho, we've come to the end of the show. It was great having you
Yeah.
here. I know we're gonna have a part two because I'm literally trying to stop Plastika from talking.
Honey, I talk a lot. I told her this.
But where can we find you on Instagram or social media?
At it's dot plastika on Instagram.